Most people assume you grow by working on yourself. Carl Rogers, a humanistic psychologist, focused on the opposite, that you grow through other people. Over his decades of clinical experience, Rogers came to believe that human beings are naturally oriented towards growth. Me, you, everyone. No matter how disturbed, traumatized, or antisocial someone might currently be. Growth, in this sense, means emotional and relational growth. Greater responsibility for one's inner life, greater capacity for closeness, and more openness and empathy, both towards oneself and others. The kind of growth that changes how we experience ourselves, others, and meaning, not just how disciplined, healthy, or functional we are. Rogers found through his clinical work that the more accepted an individual feels, the more they will drop the false fronts with which they're meeting life, and the more likely they are to engage authentically with themselves and others. The key that Rogers noticed is that this kind of growth is catalyzed by a certain kind of relationship. Through a secure relationship, positive growth seems to be innate. We have drives towards emotional maturation and positive social connection as long as the conditions are healthy enough to facilitate it. Introspection and healthy habits have a role in setting the ground for growth, but growth that creates meaning and value in our lives happens in a social and cultural context. Hitting the gym, journaling, and building other healthy habits are great, but can still leave you feeling stagnant and isolated and without real community. The gardener's hand may prepare the soil, but it does not make the plant grow. For Rogers, growth wasn't about self-improvement techniques, it was about how we relate to other human beings. Rogers wrote, "Can I meet this other individual as a person who is in the process of becoming? If I accept the other person as something fixed, already diagnosed and classified, already shaped by his or her past, then I'm doing my part to confirm this limited hypothesis. If I accept him or her as a process of becoming, then I am doing what I can to confirm or make real his or her potentialities." In a practical sense, this means being open, understanding, and responsive to one another. This means not jumping to conclusions, but rather seeking to understand, even if confrontation, disagreement, and some negative feelings are inevitable. Rogers also noted that it does not help in the long run to act as though I was something I am not. Acting calm and pleasant when we're actually angry isn't helpful. It doesn't help to act loving when at the moment we are feeling hostile. In the long run, maintaining a facade is always detrimental to building constructive relationships. And Rogers says that most of his mistakes in relationships have been because he, for some defensive reason, behaved in one way on the surface while his feelings ran in a contrary direction. Allowing and accepting states of annoyance, boredom, anger, and other negative emotions allowed Rogers' relationships to become more real, vital, and meaningful. This acceptance leads to growth, as real relationships tend to change and evolve in time. Relationships are not stuck if they are not contrived. But how can we tell if we are blocking our relationships? Practically speaking, what should we do? It's important to understand that Dr. Rogers is really describing an attitude or disposition. He is describing a way of meeting the world and other people. This can mean giving attention to and affirming the person who is actually in front of you. This can mean recognizing your mental leaps and catching yourself when you notice you're assuming more than is reasonable or judging based on assumptions. This means openly sharing how you are feeling and listening to others without shutting down or unnecessarily escalating tense emotions. In this way, your relationships to ideas, people, and things become less static and more organic, such that they can evolve and change over time. In this way, your world can breathe and come to life, in a sense. And authentic relationship is an attitude we can all cultivate with practice, and is a step towards growth and the recognition that our attention and attitude critically gives shape and informs what we find, so should be given with the utmost care and intention.